Bugger off, yellow trespasser. What are you doing in my house? Sorry about that. Hi. I am the anonymous frog. And today, I'm going to show you something special. If only that sponge guy didn't break into my house. I've started the second season. And am now going to check out more edit posts. This time, coming from entitled parents again. Let's get started again. I worked hard for that hour. So I'm sitting at a well-known bakery chain when a woman and her son walk up to the register. The drama started immediately when the cashier said, "Hello miss, what can I get you today?" The Karen immediately erupts, "How dare you call me miss? I am Mrs. I worked for that hour. Don't you see I have a child? How dare you suggest I'm an unwed mother? Get your manager now." The cashier has been stammering through her 30 seconds of uninterrupted yelling but quickly leaves to go get her manager. The Karen complains that the cashier called her miss. The cashier must have been implying she was a hussy. Manager has dead eyes and says, "I'm sorry about that missus, what can I get you today?" She orders her pastries and walks out with her nose in the air, dragging her son behind her by the hand. I didn't hear yelling or anything from the back and the manager didn't seem to care, so I really doubt the cashier got reprimanded over this. This just confused me to no end. Isn't it a compliment for a middle-aged woman to be called miss? I thought it only suggested a woman looked young. I had heard women get offended at madam because I'm not that old. But never this. A simple story, nice and short, but not something you'd wait a whole week for. Let's get just started. That long. Hopefully this next story is not as long. Entitled New Mother Who Bullies Her Young College Mates. I have a 33-year-old classmate in my current degree program who has a 1-year-old daughter. Since day one, she has been using the excuse of having a kid as some kind of a trump card to get her way. She is Russian and by nature very direct. Coupled with her coercive tactics, she comes across as extremely imposing and demanding. Especially towards our younger classmates, who, mind you, are all around 19 to 22 years of age. Example 1, she is too lazy to take notes during class, but will then hunt down her students to demand for their notes, because I have child. Once, she forced my sweet friend to email her a set of notes on 3 different occasions, simply because she was too lazy to dig up the original email with the attachment. Example 2, we had an online test that we were given 24 hours to complete. She overheard my friend's plan to get it done and over with within the first hour of release, and cornered them into agreeing to give her the questions plus answers because taking care of baby is tiring, no time to study. I hope you understand, girls. Next time you will be mother too. Example 3, my tutor fell ill and had to reschedule a very important tutorial, one that no one can miss because it contains important concepts that will be tested for our finals. He asked us if we would prefer an AM or PM class. I said PM, giving the reason that I had a part-time work shift in the morning. She insisted on AM, because I am mother with child. Baby sleeps at 7 p.m, I have to see her before sleeping time. She proceeded to emotionally manipulate and guilt-trip the majority of our class into agreeing to her AM proposal using her kid. As I have work, I will be missing the class and will have to risk self-studying for the finals. She on the other hand, cannot go without seeing her kid for one night in a year, even though it's for legitimate reasons. P.S. I would have tried to wriggle out of work, but my boss would say no because we have an important client meeting that day. Also, I get paid per hour and it's how I earn my meager student allowance which I subsist on. Thoughts on how I can satisfyingly shove her entitlement back in her face are welcome. At this point, I have zero regard for being polite to her, and am only waiting for the opportune moment to do it. Hi. I am Professor Frog. And I'm going out sick. For real. You will have to study this lesson late from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Got that? I will croak if I worked any earlier.
No way, Green Bean. I am a mother of 3 older kids and a newborn. and newborn has to sleep from 4 p.m. to 10 in the morning. I can't leave newborn sleeping all alone, or the big bad sponge will eat it alive.
Big bad sponge will not eat it alive. You are just trying to get me to work earlier. I have videos to work on, and you have cost me a whole week.
Miss, I am married. Don't you dare assume I broke the Lord's rules to bear 4 kids to this world. I'm going to tell the manager you are a bad professor. And not just because you've been teaching us nonsense. Good. Bye.
Karen is gone. Back to business. Next story. The hamster versus the entitled parent. This happened a few years ago when I had my hamster, who was a rescue, the best friend a student could have. I'll dig out a pic of the little beast and pop it on my profile. I was coming home from uni on the train, with Stanley the hamster in his carry box. He had an enclosure at home and one at uni, and I was lucky enough not to have to clear out my room over Christmas. The train went initially quite well, Stanley on my lap whilst I was reading. Then this child sits on the empty seat next to me, starts asking me questions about everything and nothing. Then he notices Stanley's carry box. It had a bright blue bottom and a clear plastic top with breathing gaps. Big enough for a Syrian hamster to sleep in with space for lots of bedding. I explained that it's my hamster Stanley. He starts asking me about diet, behavior, etc. I was fairly impressed at the time because he seemed genuinely interested in all the facts. He asks to hold him and I tell him nicely that he's sleeping and doesn't like being disturbed. My other reason was that I didn't consider a train to be a safe environment to get Stanley out, and he was a temperamental little fella at the best of times, though I didn't tell the child that. Child just shrugs and continues to ask me more questions. Then he wanders off to annoy some other passengers with his million questions. Enter entitled parent. She sat down and smiled at me. Asked me why I wouldn't let her child hold my hamster. Spoke in a condescending way. She asked me if she could hold my hamster. I obviously said no because he was sleeping. She then proceeded to try and grab the box he was in, rocking the box backwards and forwards, waking the beast. He awoke, yawned and stretched in that adorable hamster way. The entitled parent asked me that now he was awake could she hold him. I said no because she was rude. She managed to get a hold of the latch and went in for the grab. At this point I could hear shouting behind me. Before her fingers could get around Stanley, he snapped. It was quick, just a warning shot. Enough for her to pull her hand back and me to get the latch back in place. I swear he was looking very pleased with himself. I was so proud. Next thing I knew, she was bleeding. He got her under the nail. Serves her right. The ticket guy is standing over looking mildly amused. She starts screaming that I've got a dangerous animal and she needs to go to the hospital. And I should give her the hamster for her child. EP logic. Before I could say anything, the ticket guy tells her that at the next stop there would be transport police waiting for her as she had attempted to steal an animal and she had caused multiple problems further up the train. Anyway, I hope the child turned out okay because although annoying he did ask a lot of good questions, and when I said no he understood. Stanley lived to be 4 and he was the best hamster. Still was a temperamental little bugger though. Edit, I feel like I should add that cancer got him in the end, and if I could have made him live forever I would have.
Hey Greenie, I've got my 3 kids with me. Get him.
That can't be good. Don't you dare touch me, you brats. I've still got 4 more years left. Gotcha Karen. You have nowhere to run. You bugged me enough. First you parked your car in the middle of the road, forced me to wait while you ordered 40 giant chicken nuggets. Now you are making me work earlier than I should in my health. I am the manager. Glad that's over with. Subscribe to my channel and comment on my beans. If Anonymous Frog were live action, which actor is best for my role?